Well, hello everyone. Welcome to the very quick cover of the Arid Pack and update 1.14. So, just in a little zoo that I've thrown together. It's nothing fantastic at all, but it does what it needs to do. So we'll get stuck in. I'm sure you've already seen everyone else's videos by now, so I'm not going to go into massive detail on everything. But essentially, what we get with the DLC are new statues, which is the dromedary camel. Comes in stone, bronze, silver, and gold. I have completed the story campaign. It was more difficult than I was imagining. We get these new plants. So we had other versions of these plants before, so these are newer versions. So we have the creosote bush, without the flowers, which are these three here. They of course come in small, medium and large. Then we have the dry version, which is one of the new pieces of foliage that I spotted in the trailer. And then we also have the Nitraria retusa bush, again without flowers, available in small, medium and large, and the dry versions too. Now that's it for new plants. There isn't a new path in the game, as I thought there was. I was absolutely adamant that there was. There isn't. I don't know what path they used to create the path, what we saw in a couple of the screenshots. I think it was the Sandcat screenshot. It looked like a new path, so they're very adept with their in-game pieces, I must say. Everything else that's new in the DLC, we'll see when we get over to the animals. But the update then introduces two new camera modes. So we have scenic mode, so it comes up with your little radar. And let's just head over to our Somalian wild asses. So what you do is you pop it there, and then it just spins around that object, essentially. So we're just going to get a full 360-degree view of this particular Somali wild ass. You can zoom in, and you can also change the angle to do that, should you so wish. But you can't move its position. To move the position, I think you would have to come back out of it. Like, that's the normal mode, which is just orbit. Then you have spin, and there's two versions of spin. There's spin and then ellipse, which is what we're looking at now. So it comes all the way back out, and then it's going to go all the way back in again. It creates some really nice shots, actually. Yeah, I like that one. And then we have spiral, which does exactly what you'd think it does. So it starts off close and then slowly winds its way out. And the other way. So it starts out and slowly winds its way in. As we come to do another pass, you'll see we're getting closer. So yeah. And then the other one is the cinematic camera. So I'm not going to show you too much for that one, because it is really simple to use. I suggest the best way you become familiar with it is to just try it. So we go on to Cinematic Route Editor, and it brings this up. So what I want to do is I want to go from these ADACs here over to these ADACs here. And we want a nice smooth transition between that. You can use this in pause or play. I've just got it paused at the moment because I'm showing you this feature. So what we would do then is we would add a keyframe. and then we tick hide UI whilst playing. And then let's say we want to move to here, so we add keyframe after. But we might want to start changing the camera angle at this point. So we can rotate it like so. And then all we do is we just go to our next point, add keyframe after. And then our final point, add keyframe after. I don't think you can zoom, unfortunately. Yeah, you can move it, but you can't zoom. You'll see the path editor there. So let's just bring this out. And then we want to get nice and close to the addax. Let's go for this one here. Pop one in. And then we want to, let's say we end it in the bushes for some cinematic effect. And then all you do is hit play. And here you go. And this is what you get. It's really simple to use. I thought it was going to be really complicated. Like, you have to put camera rolls in and make sure there's no sort of weird objects that you can clip through and stuff like that. No, it is really simple. Apart from this bit. But yeah, it takes a bit of learning, but you're just going to have to experiment with it and play with it. And there we are. So that's what you do essentially. It's a really nice feature, and I think lots of people are going to use this, not just content creators, but definitely it's going to take some trial and error. Anyway, the thing what you're probably all here for. Let's get seated properly. The animals. So we're starting off with the addax. I've wanted the addax in the game for a very long time. I'm really glad we've got them. They look absolutely amazing. We are going to have the UI open because they've got different variations. So this one's cream coat brown face. This one's cream coat brown face. Let's find the others. This one's white coat brown face. This one's white coat brown face. This one's pale coat brown face. I think that's all the variations. I wasn't able to find any more, and I've been through the trade centre a lot, so definitely I think that's all the variations, but if not, let me know. I'm always happy to see more animals. But yeah, so we've got pale coat brown face, we've got cream coat brown face, and we've got white coat brown face. Those are the three variations. They look absolutely amazing. Their social requirements, because I was very curious about this. 1 male, 24 females, and they have interspecies with the common ostrich, the Dama gazelle, the dromedary camel, and the Somali wild ass. I wouldn't advise mixing them personally, because the Somali wild ass has some very particular terrain requirements that don't really work for the other animals. But we'll see how things pan out. So that's the addax, and they do come with a sign. These lovely sort of illustrated signs that we've grown to love. I've grown to love them anyway. We get those for this pack as well. I just wish I'd go back and do the other packs in that style. So next on the list is the Dama gazelle. We'll look at their two signs. They're special. They get two. There's one running and one sort of mid-jump. And again, same story. They have different coat variations. So we've got White coat, orange neck, blanket. White coat, brown neck, blanket. White coat, brown neck, blanket. White coat, red neck, blanket. Again, these were the only variations I could find, so 3. White coat, orange blanket. White coat, red blanket. White coat, brown blanket. Those were the only variations I could find in the trade centre. And the babies, again, absolutely phenomenal quality. Just Frontier, with the past few packs, have just knocked animal quality like right out the park. Those are the Dharma Gazelle. Their social requirements: 1 male, 19 females, a smaller group than the Addax, but they can be mixed with the Addax, the dromedary camel, and the scimitar horned oryx. Food for thought, perhaps. Just adjust myself in my chair. So, smaller animals next. We've got the African crested porcupine, somewhere in here. Are they both there? Yep, they are. Let's enter camera view. So they can use the burrows, as you can see. The quills look absolutely amazing. And they're both going to go to sleep, of course they are. There are only 2 versions of the porcupine. There's the normal version, you sort of black body with white quills, and then there's the albino version, if you like, or the leucistic, I believe it is. They're the only 2 versions. I wasn't able to get the leucistic ones. So black fur and black and white striped quills. Yeah, I wasn't able to get the leucistic ones. Those are the porcupines, and there's their little sign. We'll actually just bring it up slightly. So this is what their sign looks like. It's really cute. Then we have the exhibit animal, which is the desert horned viper. I can actually spot them. See how close we can get. It's just sat there, its tongue comes out every so often. It's nothing spectacular, but it's alright, I suppose. This is where I thought I was going to shoot through it. Yeah, exhibit animals aren't that interesting, unfortunately, just because of the way that the system is designed in the game. But the attention to detail here, you know, the tongue comes out, the eyeball moves, but it's stuff that you would not see from the guest's perspective. You can just see the head bobbing up and down. You can't make out that the tongue's moving or not. And the other ones, of course, down here in this crevice. So yeah, we've got them. The end of story. The sand cat then, these look absolutely adorable. Here's the sign. They do not need a habitat this big. They are tiny. Here we go. I mean, you can see they only need 328, and I've given them 1,500. So again, there are variations in the fur, but I don't know if I've been able to find them all. So we've got sandy fur with dark tabby markings. Let's see if we can find any of the other ones. Tan fur with dark tabby markings. Yep. So, Amelia. I think golden. Tan fur with dark tabby markings. That one's in the quarantine. Don't know why. So what we got? Golden Fair with dark tabby markings, yeah. So we've got Sandy Fair, dark tabby markings, Tan Fair, dark tabby markings, Golden Fair, dark tabby markings, and then the male for some reason. So their social requirements then, and we'll go back to the porcupines for their social requirements as well. Here we go. Now they emerge. So you can see that this one is a bit darker. Look at them. They're adorable. And these have brand new animations. We may even see it actually. I just reset the enrichment here. Is it going to do it? Maybe? Yeah. Yeah, it's going to do it. Look at it. It's awesome. I love that. So their social requirements are... Where am I? Here we are. 1 male, 1 female, or you can have up to 3 females in a bachelor group. They're very shy as well, so keep that in mind when building your habitats. Porcupine social requirements. We've got baby porcupines. Porcupine pups. They're quite cute. Look at them. So, we've got no interspecies enrichment, which is fine. I have seen them mixed with meerkats before. That's not to say you couldn't mix them with meerkats, it's just that they wouldn't get the interspecies bonus, which is fine, you know, it's not the end of the world. You can have up to 5 males and 5 females. There's a monogamous mated pair that leads the family group. All mature offspring are tolerated in the group, and it is a walkthrough habitat, although I wouldn't recommend it personally. I wouldn't walk through a porcupine habitat, because if you get a quill in your leg, you're going to know about it. So those are the smaller animals. Now on to the bigger animal of the pack. We have the black rhinoceros. Now it doesn't say what subspecies, they are. So I'm just going to assume, for argument's sake, we'll say it's the eastern black rhinoceros. No interspecies enrichment. That is very true to form. Unlike southern white rhinos, black rhinos are quite aggressive, quite solitary, don't really tolerate being with other animals that much, or others of their kind. So, you know, yeah, if you wanted to build a safari, this could be an issue, but that's how it is in real life, you know? There's a reason why these animals are kept on their own a lot of the time. You can have up to 1 male and 2 females. All mature offspring are tolerated in the group, but, you know, primarily the male would be solitary. 2 females maximum, so you could have a mother and daughter, and then the dad. That's your group, essentially. Critically endangered, of course, Africa, grassland and desert. Same enrichment as the other rhino species in the game, those being the southern white rhinoceros and the greater one-horned rhinoceros. They have 3 that I've been able to find, skin variations. So this one, Babusi, is the light grey thick skin. Then we've got grey and dark grey. Yeah, this one's the dark grey. and this one's the grey. I don't notice that much difference between them, to tell you the truth. I mean, if we put the light on, does that make any difference? Okay, I can see some difference between these two, definitely, yeah. Huh. Well, there we go. But these are our black rhinos. Up next then, the the sign that's been vandalised. Let's replace that. Black rhino sign, got this lovely sort of penciled outline. It's all illustrated and coloured in. I really like it. It's really nice. Then, probably the fan favourite, the dromedary camel. I wasn't too bothered about these, but I like them. They're really well made. They have a lot of variations and some really cool animations that you won't see from the dromedary camels here. I'll explain why in just a second. So we have leucistic pale coat, melanistic black coat, sandy coat, golden coat, brown coat, tan coat, piebald tan and white pied coat, light brown coat, and leucistic cream coat. There's probably still some more versions out there, but I was tired of scrolling through the trade centre trying to find them. Again, the sign. I love the signs. I think they're really well made. The camels themselves, really well made. Great sounds, great animations. Probably a great addition to many a zoo. I may even use them myself at some point. Probably not in Dunswell Zoo, but in another zoo. They just look really, really cool. It's really cool. And the reason you won't see one of their new animations here is the spitting animation. It's because, I think anyway, I was watching for a while and it wasn't happening, and then I read on the forums the release notes. This fence is too high, and it's a custom fence, not a in-game barrier. So if the fence is low enough, they'll spit, and if it's an in-game barrier what allows spitting, so like the mesh over here with the Bactrian camels, they'll spit. But this fence, they won't spit, which is unfortunate, but hey ho. I really like the dromedary camels, yeah, I just wasn't particularly excited for them. Over the way then, Bactrian camels. This one's a bit of an interesting one. It's not mentioned in the release notes anywhere that they've added any variations to the Bactrian camels, but I'm sure they have, because you've got brown wool coat, sandy wool coat, cream wool coat, leucistic white wool coat, red brown wool coat. I think that's all the versions I've got. There's probably some more versions out there again. So yeah, I don't remember them having these variations, and there's nothing in the release notes. I think they've maybe just snuck that one in because they can. But I haven't seen these spit through the fence yet at guests, which is unfortunate because I'd really like to see it. But I know that they can spit through this if they want to. But they're not going to do it, unfortunately. And now on to the final animal of this pack. The Somali wild ass. The one that I'm probably slightly the most disappointed about. In the screenshots, these looked absolutely amazing. You can see the veins on the stomach, the leg markings were really identifiable. In game, I don't know. They just look a bit like a donkey. You have to get quite close to be able to see the leg markings. They just look like donkeys from a distance. Again, sign, love it. And again, variations here. So this one is grey coat, white legs, black primitive markings. This one is dark grey coat, white legs, black primitive markings. This one is dark grey coat. That one's a dark grey coat. That one's a grey coat. Is this the light grey? Yeah, and a light grey coat. So it looks like there's 3 variations each. A grey, a light grey, and a dark grey for the Somali wild ass and the rhinoceros. And then 3 variations for the addax, 3 variations for the Dama gazelle, 2 variations for the porcupine, 3 variations for the sandcat, and no variations for the horned viper. So yeah, new DLC. We get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 new pieces of foliage, the new signs, and the new animals. The update, we get the cameras rather, scenic mode, and cinematic route editor. And the fennec foxes and the pangolins can now use the ground burrows as well, which is pretty cool. So what do I think of the pack overall? So not 1.14, the pack. It's a good pack. You know, I can see myself using the porcupine, the rhino, the Dama gazelle, the addax, and the Somali wild ass. Sort of pretty much in every zoo, if not every other zoo that I do. The dromedary camel will probably include it. It's an iconic animal. It's a really well made animal in the game. Lots of different variations. Well done, Frontier. The sandcat, very cute, very small footprint in terms of habitat size. Probably better off in an indoor enclosure, or an enclosed outdoor enclosure with one-way glass, or if you're in sandbox you can just turn animal stress off, because they are shy. And yeah, so favourite animal then? I do like the addax. I like addax a lot. They're really cool. I think it'd be between the addax or the black rhino. Because the black rhino, if I just pause it and we go into explore mode, which you never do with a rhino. Got these little tufts of fur around the ears, which is very true to life. They've got that hooked lip, which they pull brows off with. They've got the little curved tail. It's having a poo. Everything poos when I record. I don't get it. But yeah, I think the addax just slightly edges ahead for me as the favourite. But they're all really great animals. You know, we've got 3 least concerns, which is the porcupine, the sandcat, and the dromedary camel, because the camel's domesticated. The horned viper is also least concern. So we've got 4 least concern and 4, I think they're all critically endangered, are they not? Addax is critically endangered. Somali wild ass is critically endangered. Yes. Dama gazelle is critically endangered. Yes. And black rhino definitely critically endangered. I forgot to check this earlier. The social requirements for the camel then, you can mix it with the addax, the Dama gazelle, the reticulated giraffe, the scimitar horned oryx, and the Somali wild ass. You can have 1 male and 12 females, or you can have a bachelor group of up to 9 males, or a bachelorette group of up to 13 females. The mature males related to the alpha become outsiders. So, let's check, shall we? This one, for example, Ryaz, they wouldn't be allowed to stay in this group. They would have to go somewhere else. And the Somali wild ass, see, we're at the maximum amount of plants that they can have in a habitat. It's not a lot at all. And in terrain, you know, they require more rock. But rock's a particularly bland thing to... There you go. And their social requirements. Ostrich, addax and camel. But as I said before, as I discovered in the Korea scenario, I probably wouldn't mix them because they require a lot of rock, whereas the other animals, you know, the addax, the dama gazelle, the camel, they require a lot of sand, whereas with the Somali wild ass, you can see it's mainly soil. There's just a bit of a sand patch in the middle, and then the rest of it's rock. So, wouldn't mix it. Do I advise that you buy the Arid pack? It makes no difference to me whatsoever. This review, this showcase, this whatever you want to call it, is completely unbiased. I bought this pack with my own money. I didn't get early access. So I don't owe Frontier anything in that regard. I think if you're after critically endangered animals in Planet Zoo, you should absolutely buy it. If you want some of the more typical or common zoo animals, you know, black rhinos, dromedary camels, porcupines, they're there. You get the other animals as well, which is sort of an added bonus. If you're more of a builder and you want more building pieces, or you're in it more for the foliage, you do only get 12 pieces of foliage in this pack. So if you're more of a builder or you're more in it for the plants, potentially you could probably skip this one. But I don't know about anyone else. I buy all the Planet Zoo DLCs anyway, and the Twilight pack was my least favourite of them all. But the more I play the game, the more I find myself using components from it. So for me, it wasn't a waste of money, and I don't regret buying it. It's $7.99. Same with the Arid pack. I wasn't questioning this in any sort of way at all. I was getting this pack because critically endangered animals, showcasing them in zoos, telling the conservation stories, that stuff is really important to a zoo and to me. So it was a no-brainer that I was going to have this pack. It's great, and I can't wait to house these animals in the future. Until then, my friends, thank you very much for watching. Please remember to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Let me know your favourite thing about the pack, if you indeed have something about the pack that is your favourite. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at JW_YT. And until the next time, my friends, stay safe, stay kind, and I shall see you all in the next video, which will probably be done so soon. Until then, my friends, bye-bye for now.